You're eating 1,500 calories. You're hitting the treadmill until your shins throb. You're checking every low-fat box in the grocery store, and yet when you look in the mirror, that spare tire is still staring back at you like a life vest you can't take off. You probably told yourself, or some doctor has told you, that your metabolism is broken. That's because you're over 35 or 40, and your body has simply decided to quit. That's what they tell you. I'm 48 years old, and I'm here to tell you that's a lie. Your metabolism isn't broken. It's in power save mode. It's a high-performance engine that has been clogged by the wrong signals, high stress, and civilian habits that have muted your internal furnace, right? Today, we aren't just going to diet. We're going to perform a full metabolic remap. By the time we finish this briefing, you'll have the exact tactical blueprint to flip the switch from storage mode to burn mode. Welcome to day 5. I'm a retired Navy SWC, or Special Warfare Combat Crewman Senior Chief. In the SWC community, we lived and breathed high output. But I want to tell you a sea story about the reality of human biology under pressure. I want to take you back to a specific evolution during a high stress training cycle. We were on the water for days. We're talking 3 weeks on an island, maneuvering and transiting through long training hours to different locations and back. 24, 48, 72 hours of constant vibration, the relentless pounding of the hull against the chop of the ocean tides, and the mental load of navigating at high speeds in the pitch black. Now, on paper, we should have been shredded, right? But we were at a massive calorie deficit, eating snacks or cold meal preps and MREs on the fly, or even skipping meals, right? And burning thousands of calories just standing upright and maintaining a lookout. You'd think the body would just peel the fat off. But I started looking at my guys. Tough, elite, high-tier warriors, tier operators. And I noticed something strange. Despite the grind, despite the lack of food, these men were starting to look soft. Their faces were puffy. They were holding water around their midsections, and they were losing muscle definition by the hour. It was the selection paradox. I realized then that when you push a man's body past the red line without a tactical pause for recovery, the biology rebels. The body doesn't care about your mission accomplishment. It cares about survival. It was pumping out so much cortisol and holding on to so much fluid that it was literally cannibalizing its own muscle to protect its fat stores. We were working harder than anyone on the planet, and yet metabolically we were moving backward. I spent decades pushing that red line. I thought that embrace the suck was the answer to every physical problem, but when I transitioned to the business world, I tried to use that same selection mentality to lose the executive 20 pounds I had put on. I figured if I could survive the teams, I could survive a 1,200 calorie deficit and 2 hours of cardio. It failed. Why? Because the civilian world is a low output, high stress environment. You have the same cortisol levels you had on the boat, but you're sitting in a swivel chair instead of a shock mitigating seat. Your body thinks it's in survival mode, thinks it's a survival situation, but it has nowhere to put that energy. I had to go back to the books. I had to study the actual science of metabolic adaptation. Through parallel performance, I've taken the 3-hour hero framework and applied it to the biology of men who have high stakes, who have high stake lives, but low time availability. We don't guess, we calibrate. To fix the engine, you have to understand the 4 ways your body actually burns energy. Most guys only focus on one, so we're gonna focus on all of them. Picture yourself standing in front of a whiteboard right now, And on that whiteboard is a big square. And that big square is broken into 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1, BMR, basal metabolic rate. This is your idling speed. If you were to lie in bed all day and not move a muscle, this is what you'd burn. As men over 35, we start losing muscle mass, expensive tissue. Muscle is like it's like a V8 engine. It burns fuel even when the car is parked. If you lose muscle, you downsize to a V4. So we need to keep that V8. Quadrant 2, it's your TEF, thermic effect of food. Every time you eat, your body has to pay to digest it. But here's the secret. Protein costs 30% to digest. Fats and carbs cost about 5 to 10%. If you're eating processed dad food, you're getting no metabolic rebate. We're gonna change that. Quadrant 3, eat. Exercise, activity, thermogenesis. This is your gym time. The time that we spend in the gym. This is only about 5% of your total burn. This is why you can't outrun a bad diet, right? One muffin equals 4 miles of running. So you do the math. Quadrant 4 is NEAT. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. This is think of it as your secret weapon, right? This is fidgeting, walking to the copier, standing while you take a call. For a busy professional, NEAT is the difference between a shredded physique and a dad bod. When you sit at a desk for 10 hours, your body mutes its metabolic signals. So that's how we're gonna work on. We're going to unmute them, all right? Most of you think the answer to your weight gain is to eat less. You think if 2,000 calories isn't working, you should go to 1,200. I once worked with a former veteran dad who was eating 1,500 calories and doing an hour of cardio daily. He was gaining weight. Why? Because his body thought that he was in a survival situation. It lowered his thyroid, crashed his testosterone, and hiked up his hunger hormone. He was starving but staying soft. So we aren't going to survive. We're not going to starve the fat off. We're going to work it off by increasing your metabolic demand. We are going to convince your body that it's safe to burn fat by giving it the right nutrients and the right signals. So, question of the day, right? How do we actually do this in 3 hours a week? 1, strength as a metabolic anchor. We lift heavy 3 times a week for 45 to 60 minutes. Why? Not just for the pump, but to tell your body, keep the muscle. This keeps your BMR high. 2, the protein leverage. You're going to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of goal body weight. If you want to be 200 pounds, you eat 200 grams of protein. Protein is the mission essential fuel. It keeps you full and it keeps that TIF, that thermic effect, high. 3, the tactical walk. The NEAT optimization, right? You're not going to run marathons. You're gonna walk 10 minutes. 10 minutes after every meal. This manages blood sugar and keeps that burn signal active throughout the workday. So I'm gonna give you here are your marching orders for the next week. Task 1, the protein standard. I don't care about your carbs or fats yet. Hit your protein numbers every day, no excuses. Your task 2, the 2-minute drill. Every hour you are at your desk, you stand up and move for 2 minutes. Air squats, walking, stretching, working on breaking that sedentary cycle. Task 3 is your sleep hygiene. 1 night of 5-hour sleep makes you as metabolically inflexible as a type 2 diabetic the next day. You must protect your 7 hours like it's a secure perimeter. Day 5 is about realizing you are not past your prime. You're just operating on a corrupted file. We started the remapping today. Think about your kids. Do you want to be the dad who watches them run at the park from the beach, from the bench, because your metabolism or your energy's gone? Or do you want to be the man who sets the pace? Tomorrow, the day 6, we're going to talk about the science of autophagy, how you let your body clean its own engine through strategic fasting. This is where we get into the cellular level. Hit the subscribe button, ring that bell so the algorithm knows you're part of the 100-day mission. And if you're tired of trying to figure it out, trying to figure this out alone, click the link in the description. Let's get you on a call and build your parallel performance blueprint. Day 5 is complete. I'll see you tomorrow for day 6. Out here. Salute.